1, dude.
Hello, everyone. How you guys doing? I'm here with Chris, the legend Durr. This is someone I've met. I met him a couple years ago, visiting San Francisco, feeling out the scene, seeing if I wanted to move out here.
Not to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I did
please.
meet you in Boston, actually, the week of the marathon when me and Walker went out there.
That's
for
true.
Marathon Monday.
That's true. Was that the first time I met you?
That was the first time I met you in the mods, dude, at Boston College.
In the mods at Boston College.
Which
That is legendary.
As seniors too, which I don't think you're supposed to be in the mods as a senior. I think that's
That's the whole point of the mods, brother.
Okay.
That's the whole point.
See, I didn't go there, man. I'm not in the know.
No, it's okay. I didn't get a mod senior year. I didn't deserve one. I wasn't cool enough. It's all good. So I'm here with Chris Durr. He's a legend. And I'm here to talk to him about podcasting. This guy is a host, not a host, excuse me, the host at the No Gimmies podcast. This is a podcast he started about golf, interviewing his friends. I've listened to it a few times. Don't know much about golf, but I like Chris Durr, and I like listening to him speak. So I'm here to talk to him about podcasting, how he does it, how he feels about it, how he's doing. And I want to learn from him because maybe I can get my own thing off the ground. So this is that first baby step. How we doing, Chris?
Dude, really good. I'm excited to be here and help you on your first step, man. When you reached out and told me that you wanted to start a podcast, I got incredibly excited because I tell everyone that I know to start a podcast. If you have anything that you're interested in, you might as well just force yourself to talk about it with someone else who cares.
So the thing is, I'm thinking about this just like minimum, worst case, no one listens to it. That's fine. Worst case, in a few years, 20 years, 10 years, 5 years maybe, I listen to this stuff. It's like, that was me back then. And this is who I was talking to. And even that is gold. And if other people find it good, then all the better. But this is cool regardless.
The historical element of it, it's funny that you bring it up, dude, because I think about it sometimes too with my podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this is going to live on the internet forever.
Right.
It's like my great grandkids could legitimately listen to my podcast and be like, my great grandpa was fucking weird and obsessed with golf, and
Or he was a total dick.
oh yeah, or whatever it is that
Right.
they have, like whatever opinion they have. But it's just kind of funny to think about that, because I know my grandpa right now is currently transcribing all his handwritten journals to computer. That's like one of his projects that he's working on, which I think is a really sick project. It's kind of cool because I know one day I'll get to read that, and I think it's kind of, the podcast has that kind of element too, I think. So
yeah, absolutely. No, I'm pumped about it. So we're in your recording studio right now. Can you tell us a little about the studio, where we are, and also where we are in San Francisco?
Yeah, man, absolutely. So we're in my room. I'm perpetuating the podcaster blogger stereotype who just does it in his underwear.
Right on. We're actually in your bed right now, which is weird.
Both under the covers, which is bizarre, but whatever.
Right.
It's just totally perpetuating that stereotype, which is fine. But yeah, man, we're in San Francisco, right in the heart of it, on Turk and Baker Street.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, dude.
I love it.
For anyone who wants to, for anyone who wants to hang out, man, Matching Half Coffee, that's my spot.
Matching Half Coffee, I love it.
But yeah, man, San Francisco, in my room, helping you get this podcast thing off the ground.
Yeah, I love it. So one thing I should have said this earlier. It's my first time. Call me out if I do something weird, or if I'm asking a weird thing, or this doesn't really work because X. Just call me out. It's open book right here. Let's be honest with each other.
Right on, man.
So yeah, now we got that disclaimer out of the way. How did No Gimmies come to be?
So first things first, let's give everyone an idea of what No Gimmies is. You
Right.
mentioned it was a podcast, but I kind of want to give people a little bit of a better understanding.
Do it.
I'm a golf obsessed person, super obsessed by it, love it, have for a long time. And it's kind of a cool sport because you can try to turn it into a career. There's a lot of different pathways you can take. So I've been exploring that option for the last 2 years, I'd say. Since I got out of college, I did caddying on the PGA Tour Latin America for a buddy that I played with in college, in high school, and met a lot of people down there. Got a pretty good golf network of people all over the world, essentially. And I would talk to these people pretty regularly, and I would listen to the Joe Rogan podcast all the time. And he always says, if you have an interest in something, start a podcast. And I remember the light bulb went off Thanksgiving or something of last year. I was just holy shit,
So Thanksgiving 2016.
16.
Okay.
Thanksgiving 2016. I remember I was talking to my cousin about Joe Rogan podcast.
Right.
And he was like, dude, why don't you just start one about golf? And I was like, yeah, that would be legendary. I know so many professional golfers. Right. I know so many people who are into
Web.com tour.
Web.com tour, baby. And I was like, dude, why not? That would be so fun. And it would give me an excuse to talk to these guys and follow them and help them gain more fans and help people get a slightly different perspective on golfers.
Right.
Which I think my podcast definitely does. It brings people it gives people a different idea on what a professional golfer is, because there's more to the culture than just like the stuffy guy in a polo
Right.
who looks kind of gumpy and is, hitting a ball
Well, he's an
around.
athlete.
He's an athlete. I
Right.
think so. I
No,
truly
he
believe
is.
he's an athlete with
Right.
3 syllables, so you know it's real.
Right.
But yeah, dude, I literally just started it. I bought a microphone, learned how to use GarageBand on my computer.
Right.
It took like 2 hours,
Nice.
and then literally recorded my first episode like January 7th of 2017.
Damn, I thought it's been longer than that.
Dude, no, it's been literally 1 year. And so
And how
I'm-
many podcasts do you have so far? You have
I've done 35 episodes, and I think
Right.
so. It's the first week of September or October.
right.
I think I've missed like 5 weeks, so I've missed about a month's worth of content since.
You try to do it weekly.
That was my goal. I told
Okay.
myself that I was going to do it weekly. It's turned out to be a little bit harder later in the PGA Tour season, which is kind of funny because like
Right.
people stop doing things. There's less stuff to talk about,
Right.
and I was just like, holy crap, I didn't even.
So
think
you're
about-
interviewing people on the PGA Tour.
I haven't had a PGA Tour guest yet. I've
Okay.
had people that have played on the PGA Tour before, but like
Right.
not like a current player on the PGA Tour.
Right.
A lot of Web.com Tour players, a lot of PGA Tour Latino America guys, and then a lot of like interesting people in the golf industry. Whether it be like photographers that work for magazines to take epic pictures of golf courses,
Right.
or like writers, or like golf instructors, or people that are creating training aids. Just like anyone who's kind of connected to the game that has an
Right.
interesting story or is working on something that I find really interesting.
Right. So when you wanted to start a podcast, was it podcast first, or was it I like golf and I want to talk about golf, or which one came first?
I think they went hand in hand. It was like it was no thought existed like individual of itself, I guess.
Right,
It was
right.
literally like the minute I started thinking about doing a podcast, it was the only thing I thought about doing. It was golf.
Right.
So I guess technically I wanted to start a podcast, and then the natural fit was golf.
The natural fit.
If we
was
want to
golf.
get really technical with it.
Right. So starting out, how did you feel honestly about the first couple episodes? So you have this idea on what it's going to be like to start a podcast, to get guests, find people, keep the conversation going. I mean, I'm kind of going through this right now. How were the first couple episodes? Was it what you expected? Tell me about that.
They felt great, honestly, which was kind of like I just felt like happy. I remember like finishing
Right.
recording and just being like, this is awesome. Like, this is so cool. Like, I'm really like what I'm doing.
Right.
So I remember that being like a really overwhelming feeling while I was doing the first ones. I honestly haven't listened to them again since I recorded them. The first 5, I haven't listened to them. I asked other people what they think. I know they're probably not that good. My parents and like people that like are close to me, like advisors that have listened, told me that the first couple episodes were pretty meandering.
Whoa, advisors, podcast advisors.
No, just people
Golf.
life advisors.
Life advisors.
But funnily, yeah, they are connected to golf. Obviously,
Right,
there are people
of
that
course.
golf. But yeah. Anyway, I
So-
haven't listened to the first ones. They said it meandered a little bit, and then as I just started doing it, I realized like consciously, like, okay, what do I want to do? I want to minimize my ums. I want to
Right.
talk slower. I want to try to stick to a point instead of just having like a conversation that flows all over the place. Like those
Right.
can be really good if you're an entertainer or like focused on entertaining, but if you're just doing it randomly with a buddy, yeah, it's great for you, but like sometimes other
Right.
people like can't listen to that for an hour. you know?
Right. That's what I think. I think famous people can get away with that because famous people doing anything is interesting.
Exactly.
Because they're famous. But Joe Schmoes like you and I, we got to focus on the content.
Exactly. We got to make sure we're giving people something that they want to listen to.
Right. Exactly. So I fancy you a man that can talk. I fancy myself a man that can talk. But now that I have the headphones on, I have the mic. How did that affect you when you first started? Or did you use the headphones when you first started?
I did. So the first episode I ever recorded was a no gimmies episode. It was just an episode I recorded with Josh Josh Suarez, who you know,
Okay.
to like learn how to use the tools and everything correctly.
Right on.
And like I remember it felt like
There was an right there, brother.
I know I drop them sometimes.
that's okay.
I throw likes around. I throw them all around.
Okay.
But I remember just feeling a little bit weird about the fact that I was recording my own voice, but it didn't last long. It lasted
Right.
like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of people have that phenomenon, right, where they hear their own voice and that's what I sound like.
Well, yeah. I mean, have you ever listened? Like, I remember listening to voice messages that I left like on answering machines when I was a kid, and I would fucking hate it. Yeah, I was like, this is the worst, dude. This is the worst thing ever. So I don't know. I accept that my voice sucks, dude.
No, it doesn't, dude.
I accept that I hate my voice. Let's put it that way. I accept that my
Okay.
voice is never gonna sound good to me. It may sound good to other people, but like I
Right.
will always be like, oh, dude,
Let me
I
tell
sound
you
so
about your
sharp.
voice. It's clear. I dig it. I dig your voice. I
Thank
can
you.
listen to it.
Thank you. You're nice.
Yeah. Who's your audience? So it's people. So when I listen to the podcasts I've listened to on No Gimmies, I'm thinking if I'm in college or in high school and I'm trying to learn, okay, how do I kind of make it in this world? That to me is kind of the target for your podcast. But what's going through your head when you record these? Who are you targeting?
Really, any golfer. So
Okay.
golf's kind of cool because you can always learn something from people that are better than you in anything. And
Right.
golf specifically, I feel like it's really easy to learn things from players that are better. Whether you see them hit like a crazy shot or whether you see the way they practice or the way they approach their practice or whatever it is, like the mental game on the way they play a golf course, there's like 1,001 things you can learn from the guys that are really fucking good at the game.
Right.
So I literally just want to try to find what makes those people really good at it and just try to have them like explain it to me in their terms. And I think that'll kind of help anyone who has an interest in becoming better at golf, which is pretty much anyone who plays. Because
Right.
there's no one really who plays golf and just picks it up and is all like, yeah, whatever, like it was okay. You either
Right.
like play it and don't keep playing, or you play it and like play to get better and
Right.
work
And you
and
play
like,
and listen to the No Gimmies podcast.
and listen to the No Games podcast while you are dedicated to the game at whatever level it is that your dedication is.
Right. Right. Talk me through the equipment. What do we got here? We got a couple mics. We got this red Focusrite box. Tell me about it.
So it's a Focusrite 2i2, dude. This is literally the third episode I've used it with these mics.
Wait, I can hear myself breathing sometimes. I'm gonna have to work on that. I hear my. That's gonna be kind of eerie. Does
dude,
that?
you mouth breather, man. You stop breathing into
Dude,
the
is this
mic,
is
dude.
this an issue you have with podcasters or people you have on the show, or is this? This is just me right now.
I think you're thinking about it too much because I don't hear myself do it. I probably do it, and I don't hear it when other people do it. So,
Right.
like, people always say Bill Burr breathes into the mic on his podcast. I don't really hear it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just like I don't know.
That's
so
fine.
maybe I have an untrained ear.
So
but-
Focusrite box. We got two mics. Continue.
yeah, Focusrite box, two mics. They're not USB mics. I think they're XLR mics, which is like they would use on music, like for music stages or whatever.
Right. These are the circular ones. These
Yeah.
are the real deal here.
Yeah, and they're just simple mics. Plugged into my computer, just using through GarageBand. We have two mics or whatever. This thing is like supposed to help with audio quality and like just getting two separate tracks going. Because if you just record with one mic, then you only have
Right.
one track, and it's hard to like edit what other people are saying or like sync it up if you ever make a change on something. This just makes like all that stuff a little easier.
Right.
I want to say it was like $150, and I think the two mics were like 70. So
Right on.
yeah, Amazon.com, baby, got it the next day. Thank you.
There we go.
Thank
There we
you.
go.
If you want to buy stuff, buy it on Amazon.
This podcast is not sponsored, by the way. Just so we're clear on that.
Yeah.
So we got the equipment rundown. Distribution. Now we've talked a little about this. I think you pay monthly for something. Can you tell me how do you get this out there?
I pay a monthly subscription to Libsyn, which is I think like Liberated Syndication is what it's short for.
Libsyn. Damn, I
Libsyn.
like that.
Libsyn.com. So you
Right
go
on.
there, and it's just a podcast hosting service. So like you can host your website through like Bluehost or whatever freaking company you decide to use. Podcasts the same way. So what these guys do is they help upload your podcast to iTunes, and help get it make that like a seamless thing, and then help get it everywhere else. Like
So Google Play Music, Stitcher, stuff like that.
exactly.
Right on.
And it's just like a little portal that I log into that's got all my episodes, all the stats on my episodes. I could show you the portal after this, actually. I'll
right
happily
on.
log you in. But
So can you get pretty granular stats? Something I've heard about podcasting in general is that advertising is kind of weird on it because you don't exactly know how many people are hearing the advertisements and how many people are actually downloading these podcasts.
exactly. So so you know exactly how many people are downloading the podcast.
Okay, you do know that. Got
Don't
it.
know how many subscribers you have. I have no idea how many
Interesting.
people subscribe to my podcast.
Right.
I get like a couple hundred downloads an episode, so I'm assuming a couple
Damn,
hundred.
a couple hundred.
Yeah, so I'm assuming a couple hundred people listen to every episode.
Right.
But
What about those auto downloads, brother? They could be auto downloading it.
exactly. They could
Right.
be auto downloading it. And
Right.
I have no idea I can't check their engagement. I can't
Right.
check like how long they listen. I can't check like when they leave or like I know nothing. All I know is that it gets X amount of downloads a month. So advertisers put like astronomical numbers on like what those numbers should be in order to get them to advertise for you. So it's like something where you can if you get 50,000 downloads a month, then we'll
Credit you for 50 of them.
yeah, and Libsyn will put you in touch with like those type of people. There's like a tab on their portal that's called advertisers, and
Oh,
they
right on.
like it literally says like, don't fuck with us unless you have 50,000 downloads a month. Like
Jeez.
don't waste your time.
Okay, give me a couple podcasts to get to that level, but
Yeah, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet either, dude. I've been doing it for like 9 months.
Damn, there we go. So, this is what I want to ask you about. So you have some sponsors. You have some coupon codes you give out. So how did you get those sponsors, and how many people are using those?
Not many people are using them. First things first.
Let's just get that clear.
We'll get that very clear. I'm not rolling in it because of this podcast.
Right. Right.
But it's all people that I know. So it's three companies, golf companies that I like, that I know the people who started them. Either I had them on the podcast or I've played golf with them or anything like that. And there's like 3 different things that I'm interested in. So one of them is a stats keeping software called Innova.golf that allows you to keep your strokes gain statistics, which is
They have an app?
They do not. It's all web.
Okay.
Just developed by the Swedish professional golfer, really cool guy, Thomas Peterson. I had him on the show.
Nice. I was just going to ask that. Right on.
Yeah, he's awesome. And so he's one of the ones. And so I literally have an affiliate link with him where if you go to like Innova.golf and use my promo code.
What's the promo code, dude?
No gimmies.
No gimmies.
Yeah, just straight up no gimmies.
Right on.
You get 10% off, and I get a little share of that. And that goes for the same with State Apparel and Super Speed Golf. They're all called affiliate programs.
And those are all friends.
Those are all friends. Super Speed Golf was the only one that I don't know personally. I reached out to those guys via email. They were super cool. We had a great conversation.
Right on.
Talked to them multiple times, and like they're really, really nice. And then Jason Yip for State Apparel, play a lot of golf with him. Met him through a mutual friend. Super nice guy. Very, very mellow San Francisco dad.
Nice.
Dude's sick. Dude's really cool.
Right on.
They just opened a store actually on Union and Fillmore in the marina, and they're selling all their gear out of that, and it's awesome. Beautiful looking storefront. Like, I think they're having an opening party on October 6th.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
damn, I hope we get this live before then. I don't even know where I'm going to distribute this. I'm going to use LipSync or what? SoundCloud? No, but then how do they subscribe to SoundCloud? So yeah, maybe, I don't know if it'll get out before October 6th, but that's awesome. Do they sell more than, so you work at a golf club that I've heard that sells more merchandise than anywhere else in the country.
Yeah, so we won like the merchandiser of
First of all, who awards that, by the way?
The PGA, so the Professional Golfers Association. It's like essentially it's like getting your master's in golf. That's what people can do. It's like a certification, takes like 3 years to get.
Right.
And they like run everything on the professional golfer side as far as like maintaining facilities, which are golf courses.
Right.
Like employing the staff, like paying those people. Like it's just like a big like, it's like the NBA or something like that. And then takes care of all pro golfers and all pro golfers at like all levels.
Right.
So yeah, they give that award out. Big
Right
ballers. And they gave us the Merchandiser of the Year award. We sold the most merchandise of any golf course in the United States, which is ridiculous to think about.
Yeah, but the reason
is because it's so fucking cold at the Presidio, and these jabronis show up from the East Bay.
Wow, we're dumping on the East Bay right now, dude?
I love the East Bay, dude. I love the East Bay because it reminds me of home. I'm from East County, San Diego, dude.
Okay.
I love fucking 85.
You're familiar with the East.
Yeah, dude. I love 85-degree weather, shorts, and no socks, dude. I
Right.
thrive on that fucking environment. I don't get that in the city at all, but I'm accustomed to it now. It's been 7.5 years I'm living here.
Right,
Like,
and you bring the proper gear to the golf course so you don't have to pay for new stuff.
Dude, you're bringing fucking rain gear in June, dog. If
Right.
you play, so you talk to any other golfer anywhere else on earth in June, they're thinking shorts and short sleeve, and then they show up at the fucking Presidio, and literally it is perfect weather as they come across the Bay Bridge. It's
Yes.
perfect weather as
I
they
love
drive
it.
through the city.
I
They
love
pull
it.
up the hill, get to the top of Arguello,
No.
and they're in a fucking fog cloud, and it's like 58 degrees and like misting, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" And it's not like a warm 58. Like it's not like you can feel the sun on the other side of that cloud. It's like fucking cold, dude.
Right.
Like your hands are shaking. We sell hand warmers. We sell hand warmers like it's no one's fucking business in the middle of July. It's like, are you fucking kidding me, dude?
You sell more hand warmers in a California golf course than I bet a lot of I don't know places where it's cold.
Ski resorts, dude.
Ski
I bet we sell
resorts,
more.
there we go.
I bet we sell more fucking hand warmers at the Presidio than they do at like Park City Mountain or anything like that. Because they only sell them for like 3 months, man. We have to sell them all fucking year.
Damn, gauntlet thrown. Yeah.
We'll come at us.
We'll have to check the numbers on that. That's awesome.
That's what we need a producer for. See, that's the first thing you need. Any great podcast needs a producer. Someone to stand there and Google all this shit so you can be like, young, powerful, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Do this
Yo,
for me.
intern, can you Google this, please? Thank you.
Exactly, dude. And they got to have a cool name, man.
And no, you can't have a mic.
No, he definitely can have a mic.
Oh, he can't have a mic.
definitely
Sorry,
want-
sorry.
That's yeah. We did. Fuck yeah. Share
no.
your opinions.
Sorry about that, dude. But, so he can have the mic, but how's this? We'll compromise. We'll edit it out after the fact.
I'm in control of when the mic's on.
Okay.
That's how we compromise. I can turn his fucking mic off. So if I don't want to hear what he's saying, I can just go. You're done for right
Damn.
now.
You'll get to that level one day, I'm sure. Hell, I would love to do that.
Fuck yeah, dude. It's the greatest thing ever.
What do you do to prep? Some days some days I think, a lot of people feel this way. They don't want to talk. Like some days you're like, I don't want to talk, but I scheduled this thing. Like, okay, now I've scheduled it. I got to get in the zone. What do you do?
So I will, most of the time I have an interest in whoever I'm talking to. Like it's not, I rarely go into something cold. Like,
Wow. Okay.
I rarely go into like, let me just shoot random DMs out there and see what happens. Like I do reach out via DM and Twitter and email and stuff, but like it's all people I give a shit about. Like, like next week I have a guy who's one of the top 25 on the money list on the web.com tour.
Money list is that just top 25 player?
Top 25 on the yearly earnings chart for money made that year. And so that's really key on the web.com tour to finish in the top 25, because if you finish in the top 25, you get to go to the PGA Tour the next year. It's like the farm league for the PGA Tour.
Right on.
So I know two guys that are in there right now that made it. Bo Hostler, this kid I played against, and this guy, Nate Lashley, who we know from Latin America.
Nate Lashley.
Yeah, and
I
so
like that.
They're both in the top 25, dude. They're going to the PGA Tour next year. So it's like,
Damn.
Well, why not talk to you, dude? One, it'll give the.
And you've had them on the show.
I have not had Bo on.
Okay.
Nate's coming on next week. And
Yes.
so it's like, okay, well, dude, what's up? Like, you're literally going to the PGA Tour next year. That's everyone's dream. Not many people maybe know who you are because you're a web.com tour player. So even the casual golf fan doesn't really watch the web tour.
Right.
But like, you're probably, first things first, you're nasty at golf. You've already proven you're fucking really nasty at this game.
Absolutely, right.
And two, you're probably a cool guy because like, you have golf. I think golf breeds cool guys. Maybe
Well, Nate Lashley.
Yeah, maybe I'm biased, but
It's a good name.
yeah. And so it's like, well, dude, why don't you just talk to me? Like, get a couple casual golf fans to know who you are. Maybe the next tournament you go to, some dude's just like stoked on Nate Lashley because he's like, I heard him on the No Gimmies podcast.
I'm already stoked on him. I haven't even listened to the podcast.
Because like, I mean, and that's cool, dude, to have people yelling in the crowd and stuff. Like, what? I don't
So
know.
have you heard of people say they've had that experience? They heard.
Not.
Damn, that would be legendary.
It's only between players. So like
Right.
between players who have like, there's a bunch of players that have come on the show, and so apparently like when they have come on the show, they'll go down there and like on the range or on the golf course, they'll play practice rounds together and like joke and be like, dude, like I heard you on No Gimmies, dog. Like
Hell
your
yeah.
episode was tight. Like no, your episode was sick.
Nice.
And they'll like send me pics and stuff when they're playing together, like shit like that, dude. So that's kind of cool, you know? Like it's really really cool. People would be surprised at like the level of camaraderie and like fraternity vibe that the PGA Tour and professional golf has, because like it's the same guys, dude. You've been playing against the same guys since you were a kid, realistically, because you get to like national level at like 13, 14 years old, same fucking kids there. Then college level, national,
Right.
same fucking kids, dude. Web Tour, same fucking
Right.
guys. PGA Tour, it's like guys that you've been competing with since you were like 10, 11 years old. So like, you know them. Like it's hard not to be boys with someone that you've known that long. Like
Right.
at least on like a cordial level, you know?
Right.
So fun to like expose that and like give the casual golf fan a little more understanding on like that and like who is going to be trying to ball out next year on the PGA Tour.
Dude, I love it. I mean, casual golf fan, that I think of myself as a runner in high school or even middle school and thinking, okay, what can I do with this? Now, if there was a podcast like this for running, No Gimmies, like, okay, these are guys that,
Keep
you know,
hammering or whatever.
exactly. These guys are guys, I mean, you know, we all hear the interviews of, you know, Tiger Woods has an interview on 60 Minutes, where we hear the big guys.
Right.
But I want to hear the guys that are kind of just a step above me. Like these guys are, they're on the web.com tour. So I would have loved to have this kind of direction running. I think it's hugely valuable.
It's cool to know what the people that aren't at the elite level are doing to survive, like in a career,
Absolutely.
dude, in
Absolutely.
a career, and especially something that you're interested in. Because like, listen, if you took running seriously at any level, like I know
Right.
I took golf seriously. I still take it. I still take my game really seriously, but not to the seriousness of.
Do you want to be on the PGA Tour one day?
Obviously, it's everyone's dream, dude.
Right.
But like, I don't think like. I'm not like grinding on it. I'm not like, oh yeah, for sure. Let me practice every day and like play in these tournaments. And like, I'm not like committed and dedicated to it, but like, I mean, I still try to qualify for the US Open every year, hoping
Right.
that like I make it and something crazy happens. Like
Right.
I still like play PGA section events, which are like Northern California sectional professional events. I'll play those and like
Right.
try to fucking win, dude. Like I care, you know?
Right.
There's a way to get into the PGA championship if you're a PGA professional. So that's like 2 majors I could get in.
Okay.
And then there's just like random tournaments around where you can get into like events, and it's like, yeah, why not play those? Like,
Right.
Yeah, I'm shooting more on like I'm wishing for a shooting star a little bit more than the guys who are fucking practicing every day, going to Monday qualifiers, trying to play on a tour and stuff.
Right.
But like, why not, dude? Like anyone can win in golf if you have the skill set. It's just a matter of is it your day or not.
Damn, I like that. Are most of your interviews in person or remote?
Remote, unfortunately.
Tell me about that.
I do it over the phone. I use Skype, and I have a little microphone. I like it. It's very impersonal. I feel like I have to really warm them up before.
Right.
Like a lot of like 8 minutes of like it's like really weird because like I'll do like 8 to 10 minutes of conversation before I start the interview over the phone.
Right.
And like those 8 to 10 minutes have to be solid. Like they have to be like really good. Because if they're kind of weak, like then the interview's weak, and no one likes a weak interview, man. Like, and I know when interviews are weak. I'm not an idiot. Like,
Is
I know.
this weak right now, dude?
No, I don't think this is weak at all.
Okay, right.
But like you know when you're putting out good content, you know when you're having
Right.
a good conversation, you know when it's like, oh fuck, we are bombing right now. Like this is fucking boring. I'm like,
So you have that experience on the podcast.
fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Are you kidding me?
So after you stop recording, are you upfront with the person and say, dude,
not with them.
not with them.
Not with
Okay.
them. They. I want them to know it's awesome because a
Right.
lot of times they're nervous too and they're uncomfortable or
Absolutely.
like it's like a weird thing to ask someone, hey, like let's talk about something and record it. Like, you know, like
especially remote, you take a whole half of the humanity, maybe more, is just
almost all of it.
almost all of
I'd
it's
say
gone.
all of the humanity's
all
gone.
the humanity.
Yeah, dude,
wow.
it's tough. It's really tough.
Right.
And yeah, you know what, it's shitty. And then I remember my first shitty episode. I didn't want to put it out.
Oh, you got it though.
And I talked.
right?
I remember I just told my dad, I was like, God, I had a shitty episode. It was like my 5th or 6th episode or
Right.
something, like really early. And I was like, God, like this kind of sucks. I don't know if I want to put it out. My dad's like, fuck that, dude. Weekly content, put that shit out, and who
Absolutely.
cares if it sucks, dude? If it sucks, it sucks. And I remember like, all right, that's right.
Fail fast.
Yeah, and I haven't thought about a shitty episode since. And I've probably I think my shitty episodes are getting better, which is cool.
Right.
Which is really like that's
Right.
a good feeling, and I feel like I'm having more better episodes and like better preparation, better questions, better conversation. I'm just getting a lot better at it. But remote is very difficult. I'd much rather do it in person. It's just hard to get a lot of those guys that are on the PGA Tour traveling. They're in, they travel 36 weeks out of the year, bro. Like,
Right.
yeah. How am I gonna hammer that down, dude?
Right,
Like, hey, hold on.
exactly.
Can you take a day and come to San Francisco to sit down and talk and play golf? They're like, dude, I played golf Thursday to Sunday. I got to fly Monday. I got like a press conference Tuesday. And I got
damn.
a Pro-Am Wednesday. And then I got to play another fucking tournament on Thursday.
Oh.
And it's like, holy shit, your day is just full, dude. And you're flying from Ohio to like Louisiana or like Ohio to like Biloxi, Mississippi. So you got to fly like
Biloxi.
so you got to fly into New Orleans and then drive fucking 6 hours or whatever the hell it is.
Damn.
I don't know the South. I don't know it at all. But a lot of golfers come from the South, man.
Really?
Oh,
wow.
baby. Yeah, lots of golfers
I
from the
love
South.
that. I love that. What's your style? I mean, the stuff I've listened to, it has been mostly conversational. Is that the way you go into it? It's supposed to be a conversation, or is it supposed to be something else?
It's supposed to be a conversation. I want it to be a conversation. I don't know what my style is. I
Okay.
know who I look up to or who I like try to emulate, and it's like just the classic ones, the ones that whoever wants to have a radio show would like to emulate because they're just
Who are those? Howard Stern. You talked about Howard Stern earlier. You want to be Howard
I
Stern.
love Howard Stern.
You have
dude.
the hair. This
He-
isn't a video podcast. It's pretty close.
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
He used to have it. I mean, me and him used to have it very similar lengths. But I just remember I have vivid memories of driving to Utah.
Okay.
12-hour drive with my dad for ski trips, and we would just like binge like either Howard Stern or like heavy
That's
metal, like 80s
legendary.
rock music,
That
dude.
is
So it was like
legendary.
I remember I listened to so much Howard Stern as like a 12-year-old, and I remember just being like, dude, this is the greatest thing ever. And then even like morning shows in San Diego, like the Rock 105.3, like Mikey Esparza's show, I would listen to that and just be like, dude, this guy, like, this is sick. This guy just has a morning show on
Dane
the radio.
Cook, dude.
Dane Cook has a
come
radio
on.
show?
He doesn't have a radio show, but he's got some of his stand-up stuff that you can download. And that's the first time I've heard him. Anyway, I mean, everyone seems to hate Dane Cook. I was plugging him more as a troll, but
I listened to Dane Cook comedy when I was like in 7th grade.
Right,
I remember
exactly.
on like my iPod and shit. That
exactly.
was fun.
Yeah, right on.
The Superfinger dude, the BK Lounge, dude. I
The
know
BK
it. Come on, I
Lounge,
got
dude.
it all,
still
baby.
I still call it the BK Lounge,
Yeah,
dude.
dude. Hell yeah, I'm a bouncer at the BK Lounge, baby. But yeah, dude. So it's conversational style. I want the listener to understand, how whoever I'm interviewing got to where they are.
Right.
Because for the most part, if I'm interviewing them, I like to think they've made it somewhere.
Right,
In
absolutely.
a career-wise, or made it, whatever the
He
definition.
did quotes, just for those watching at home.
Yeah,
he did quotes there.
Fucking made it, whatever the fuck
Made
you
it.
want to call it, dude.
Right.
But I want them to kind of get an understanding of like, one, what their process was to get there, and like, two, are you happy?
Right.
Are
Are you happy?
Are you fucking happy, dude? Like,
Are most of them happy?
a lot of golfers are not, because they feel like they're underperforming because they
Right.
come from a world where they've been dominating their whole life, and then they go play on the professional level and are immediately bottom.
Well,
of the
they come on to
totem
no gimmies and you just destroy them.
pole. I don't destroy them.
No.
I'm an uplifting person.
I know you are. You are. Absolutely.
But yeah, so like they go from that, bottom of the or top of the totem pole to bottom of the totem pole,
Absolutely.
and then all of a sudden the bottom of the totem pole is much more severe. Like in high school and college, that jump wasn't as bad. You're like an amateur athlete. But the minute
Right.
it turns to professional, and especially in golf, where it's so directly like your money and your livelihood is directly based on your performance.
Damn, that's scary.
That's a stress that a lot of people struggle with, and that's
Right.
like one of the big stresses that like people have to get over when they turn professional. And it takes some people 2 weeks, it takes other people 10 fucking years. dude.
Right.
Like Nate Lashley is a 34-year-old rookie on the PGA Tour.
Damn.
It's like it took him that long.
Right.
It took him that long to figure it the fuck out, but like he did. And
Right.
so it's like, whoa, like that, like what, like okay, it took you longer, but how did you do it? What are you excited about? Are you still nervous? Like all these kind of questions
Right,
that I
right.
want people that I'm curious about. I think the average golfer would want to know, and I think it just creates like it'll allow him to have more fans, and it makes him more personable, dude. It makes him less like this stoic guy on the golf course who's just all business serious, like dropping 50-foot putts and pretending like he doesn't give a fuck, or like holding it from the middle of the fairway and trying to keep it together.
Right.
Just makes it a little more personable, I think.
How do you get people to spill the goods? This is something I've churned on. This is the first podcast I've done, but I'm thinking I want people to be comfortable. I want them to be honest. So is there anything you do typically to try? You mentioned that 10-minute warm up, but anything else?
I like to, first things first, I don't think I'm good at it yet. I don't think like I get the goods every time.
Right.
I feel like I feel like I'm 50-50 honestly with like getting what I want out of the conversation. Most of the time I leave my podcast, and even if it's entertaining, I'm like, oh, like I wish I would have gotten a little bit more about this, or I wish I would have gotten a little bit more about that.
Right.
So I don't think I'm really good at it yet, but one thing that I've read and like studied in Howard Stern interviews and stuff, is listening to his interviews and stuff. I like the way they preface it with something like you almost force them to talk about one thing in like the hopes of like bring something up, forcing them to think about something,
crush.
and then and then just kind of like dig on that. So like I'll be like, okay, let me think. As a good example, okay, so Nate Lashley,
right?
This is a really good example because I just did all my prep for him and have my outline and everything. He won his first Web.com tour start. The first one he won was in Latin America after playing on the Latin America tour.
Latino
America tour for 3-4 years.
Right.
So one of the questions I'm just going to ask him is like, okay, well, how much do you think the experience of playing in Latin America, like helped you win that web event? Like, because you were so used to the travel down there, you were used to the courses, you were used to the type of grass. Like, how much of an effect do you think that played on your win on the web tour? And like, how did it affect your mental state going into the week? And then like, what I want to get out of him essentially is like, how did you get comfortable, and like what was different between like that week where you won and the other weeks on the Web.com tour?
Right.
So maybe people that are trying to be pro or can resonate with that can like hopefully take something out of it.
Right.
And two, then I can just kind of start digging on like, how do you think you're going to do that next year? Like, what do you think the changes are going to be that year? And then people will start like asking, like they'll start showing their true self, I guess.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like to get people to talk about the future or like things that they're weird about.
Right. Do you mentioned an outline. Do you share with people beforehand what you're going to ask them? Do you cover things like, don't want to bring this up because, these are no talk about topics, or tell me about that.
Yeah, you have to. Because it's like, I didn't do it at first, but yeah, you have to.
Really? So you didn't do it at first. So what was kind of the thing that made you realize you had to do it?
Courtesy.
Yeah,
just courtesy. And honestly, I thought it made the episodes go a lot better.
Right.
When they knew. I was just like, because when I would go in cold, I was an idiot. I was just like, dude, like, well, who wouldn't want to talk to me?
So you wouldn't even have an outline for yourself.
Oh, I'd go in just fucking, for like the first 15 episodes, dude, I'd just go in like nothing. No outline, no plan. I just knew who all the people that I was talking to were, and I was like, well, I'm just going to try to make it as conversational and low-key as possible.
Dude, that's legendary. I listened to I forgot which one, but it was definitely one of the first 15. And
might be first 20, honestly. Like, it was a long time.
Dude, that's insane. Because
I could probably look at it. I probably have what episode 35? I probably have like maybe 9 outlines.
Right.
So
really
20, more than 25
wow.
fucking episodes, just full wing, dude.
Well, dude, that speaks to, when I met you, I was like, oh, this guy could totally do a podcast. He's so conversational. It just flows for him. So that speaks to, this comes naturally to you. So the fact that you didn't come with that outline later. I have an outline for you. I've shared it with you. I wouldn't know. I'm good friends with you, but still keeping a conversation, even with a friend going, it's like before you start talking about shit no one cares about, that happens pretty quickly with a conversation with a friend. So I absolutely need this outline, but that's really interesting to me that you would just go in on it and just do it. That's awesome.
That's the only way I knew how to do it, because I wanted it to feel authentic. At first I didn't like the idea of making it feel like a show,
right?
Making it feel like a production. I don't know why. I wanted to be more low key about it.
Low key, okay, right on.
Sorry, I'm fiddling with the beer over here. So
oh,
it's like,
damn, this guy drinks?
I'm getting away from the mic. My mistake, dude. This is podcasting error number 1. Stay close to the mic.
Damn, okay.
Yes, but yeah, I don't know, dude. I just didn't make one. And now it's made my interviews go better. Every interview I've done an outline for went better.
Absolutely. Dude, and are you guys both looking through the outline, or only you are looking through the outline to keep it going?
I don't know if he has it. I share it with him. I do it on Google Docs, so I'll just share it via Google Doc. I don't know if he's looking at it in front of him or not. The ones that I've done in person, none of those have had an outline.
Right.
So
Well, you have the humanity. The humanity is the outline. You don't need an outline there.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
Do you have a set of questions that you always ask every single interviewee?
I don't know if I have a set of questions that I ask everyone, but I definitely have like similar themes that I try to pull out.
Right. Oh yeah.
Like I want to know if
Absolutely.
people are like practicers, like people that like to like just like range rats, people that just like sit on the fucking range.
Range rats.
just sit on the range all day.
Any significantly long enough conversation with someone, you'll get phrases like range rat. You'll get these phrases that are like common in their world, and then it just kind of blows your mind. Range rat. I've never heard that. That's awesome.
Someone who just sits on the driving range and practices forever. So it's like, okay, well, are you a range rat or are you a guy that practices by playing? And then most of the time that leads to people telling me like games that they play with themselves to keep it competitive. When you're a golfer by yourself practicing on the long hours, people will just start talking like, oh, yeah, I'm a range rat and I play this crazy game where like for 20 minutes every day I try to hit like a 50-yard hook through a fucking hula hoop or something. Or they'll be like, oh yeah, like I'm not a range rat. I go on the golf course, but like every single hole I play, I drop like 3 balls from 100 yards and I have to try to make it in less than 5 shots.
Damn.
And it's like little things like that. And you're like, whoa, like that's a baller piece of information that anyone that likes golf can go do. And it'll directly make them better. And it's like, and then, you know, there's just little nuggets like that.
Right. What do you think's better, range rat or player?
Depends, dude. Totally depends on the type of person you are. If you're like a big John Daly, like, you know, fucking free flowing
John
guy.
Daly, who's that? I don't know anything, dude.
You don't know John Daly, dude? John Daly's a golfer known for hitting the long ball, 2-time major champion.
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler.
Happy Gilmore.
He's Happy Gilmore of the fucking real world.
Okay,
real
right
world.
on.
But he's like a big booze hound. Likes to smoke cigarettes. Like he's got a bunch of interviews where he said that he would drink like 30 beers in a day and like 20 Diet Cokes and like 2 packs of cigarettes.
Well, he's doing the Diet Coke, so that's healthy.
Exactly, dude. So it's balancing it out.
Right.
But yeah. So anyway, like guys like John Daly, dude. He's a freewheeling like reckless kind of guy, dude. He doesn't spend time on the fucking range, dude. Spending time on the range will drive him crazy, dude. It'll get too mechanical. It won't work. He would not have gotten to the level that he got to by being a range rat. So he would just play games, and he's like, one thing about John Daly, he's the nastiest one-handed left-handed golfer you've ever seen. So
one-handed left. He's a left. So
he's a right-handed golfer, and dude, if you look up on YouTube right now, like John Daly one-handed shots, he's got videos of him hitting like bunker shots, like sand shots, like 30-yard sand shots with only his left hand.
Why does he only use one hand?
Just to like warm up and loose, dude. He's like all loose and like fucking flopping around, like doing his thing, and just hitting these like one-armed, like one-handed bunker shots to like 2 feet from like 30 yards. Right. It's like one of the hardest shots in golf, and it's like, dude, this fucking guy is a natural. Like, this guy can do whatever he wants. So for him, like sitting down, if he would have sat there and focused like some people do on like, okay, I'm going to hit 10 of these bunker shots to that square, inside that square, and from that square it'll release to the hole, and I'm going to do 3 different shots, one that goes high, one that goes medium, one that goes low.
Right. So
they roll different amounts. If you would have told John Daly to do that, he would have been like, fuck you, golf is stupid.
Right.
And he never would have been John Daly. But guys like Tiger or guys like
range rat.
Tiger's a range rat, dude. Tiger's a range rat. Those kind of guys, man, they'll thrive on like that kind of precision game.
Right. Are you ever worried that you're going to say something that is going to get you in trouble? I mean, when I think of a podcast at,
yes,
you know, with 8,
yes.
Tell me about that.
Yes, dude. I talked to my family lawyer after like 4th episode.
Whoa.
Because I was like, can I get sued for defamation for talking shit? Because I talk shit on Bubba Watson, who's like a very famous golfer.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, dude, fuck Bubba. I hate Bubba. I'm not a Bubba fan. Bubba's a cocksucker. Like, I'm
dude.
I'm not a Bubba fan.
Damn. So I guess, hold on. I guess my podcast now officially, you're allowed to say cocksucker now. This guy just said that. So that's, you know, this is the founding episode. So we set the tone early. So Bubba Watson, you don't like him, defamation. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I was just worried about it because I was like, well, I mean, like, trust me, I bet if I saw Bubba Watson in person, I'd shake his hand and be super nice and like would want him on the show and everything, you know? So it's kind of like funny to like think about that. But yes, as a fan, like I watch him as a golf fan and watch him play golf. I'm not a fan of the way he plays golf. I'm not a fan of the way he dresses. I'm not a fan of his antics. It's like, well, I don't like any of the things that you do that I see on a day-to-day basis.
Damn.
I bet if I sat down and drank a beer with Bubba Watson or like chilled with him on his like boat or like jumped in his pool with him or something, whatever the fuck it is that he does on his day off, I'm sure he's a killer dude.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, the image that he portrays, I don't like.
Right.
So, ideally...
And you'd have him on the show, though, of course.
And change everyone's perspective.
Absolutely.
But yes, that's my, like, that's just, you know, I was nervous when I said stuff like that. I was like, holy crap, like, I don't want to get in trouble or, like, lose my podcast or, like, go to jail for sharing an opinion, you know?
Right.
So
the lawyer said you can do that. What do you? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, he just said go for it. He said
he
told me not to worry about it. We had like an 8-minute conversation. And
right.
He basically was just like, dude, I got bigger fish to fry. Don't worry about your fucking little podcast. It's basically the theme of what happened there.
Right.
So I'm hoping for the best, but like, dude, people say way worse things than I do on way larger and wider spread mediums. So
Right. And you mentioned editing. Will you kind of, how much editing do you do after the fact?
minimal.
Minimal.
I don't change the conversation. I don't move questions around. I don't
Right.
do like if my order sucks. Like if I went from
No gimmies.
yeah, if I went from fucking golf course preparation to college golf to pro golf to back to high school golf and like it doesn't flow well, fuck it. Like we're leaving it. I'm not gonna chop and screw that shit.
Right.
Right. But I'll edit like the stuff in the beginning. Like,
Right.
oh, okay, like, you know, I like to start recording and then do a little talking, countdown, and then start. So I'll edit
Right.
that out.
Right.
I'll record an intro and an outro after the episode, and then I'll splice those together so they go with the episode.
Right.
But that's about it. Very
Right
minimal,
on,
very
right
minimal
on.
editing.
Yeah. No, I think that's the way to do it. How do you get the word out about your podcast besides coming on my podcast?
Well, yeah. First things first. This one's going to be huge for me.
Yeah. Oh,
this
no,
one's
absolutely,
gonna,
brother.
I don't know how I'm going to handle all the traffic to my website, dude. It might crash my.
Damn.
might crash my-
Squarespace, can their websites crash? What's their
Dude, so Squarespace, actually, at first I was hosting my podcast through Squarespace, my Squarespace site, and it just stopped working because I didn't have Libsyn, and they just, like, I had, like, 5 episodes on there before Libsyn, and they were just like, we can't have, like, literally there was no one on the site. It was, like, 12 people, but they still were just, like, download not work. Like, it would just, the episodes would just stop at, like, 10 minutes. So then I got Libsyn. But,
Right.
yeah, dude, how do I get it out there? I have a website. I have an Instagram.
Right.
I have a Twitter. I have
Right.
all those things. I do weekly podcasts, and I have a newsletter. So if you
Right.
go to nogimmies.io,
Right.
right there on the front page, there's a little, like, subscribe tab, and all it asks is your email, and I have a little disclaimer that says we only send you 1 email a week.
Right.
If that, dude.
MailChimp.
Yeah, MailChimp. I use
Right on.
MailChimp, which is super friendly, except for the fucking huge-ass logo at the bottom of the website that I can't get rid of unless I
Oh.
pay for it, but whatever.
Damn. Well, you get up to 2,000 emails per month. Is that
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
I don't,
okay.
dude. My subscriber list is like 108 people right now. It's really small.
108 people?
It's really small.
Right on.
But yeah, I just send out a newsletter. Keep up with people that have been on the show in the past.
Right.
Fill people in on the guests that I have this week, and then
Right.
share my promo codes, and then share like any cool pictures or stories that I saw. And then I always like people to like reply to the email and tell me shit that's going on, or share stories that they had on the golf course or things like that. I'll read those in the podcast sometimes.
Right.
But
Right
yeah,
on.
man, I get it out via the newsletter, and then it's on iTunes, Audible, Google Play Music. I don't think it's on Spotify.
Audible does podcasts.
Audible does podcast.
Damn,
baby.
I didn't even. Spotify does podcasts too.
Spotify
no?
does podcast, baby.
Damn, you're
Um,
everywhere. So how much do you do in person? So this is stuff. This is all in the cybersphere. Do you when you meet someone, will you say, you know, it's part of your elevator pitch? Hey, I'm Chris Durr. I like golf, and yeah, I run a podcast.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, I just go, hey, what's up? Like, I'm Chris. What do you do, Chris? I run a podcast.
I run a
And I
podcast.
teach golf. And
Hell
they're
yeah!
like, okay,
Right on.
cool. What's your podcast about? Golf.
Golf, nice. What
and
else
then,
would it be?
and then, yeah, dude, I mean, you got to be straightforward because people either, like I said, either love golf or hate golf. So,
Right.
So the people who are into it are into it, and it's like, all right, perfect, let's go.
Right.
Start listening or come on or something. But if you're not interested, it's like, dude, you already think I'm lame. I said I have a podcast. You already think I'm a
You
loser.
already think
Yeah,
I'm
I'm already on the wrong end of the stick
You're
here.
already
so.
a neckbeard.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
your,
I'm already a neckbeard, dude.
Damn, you're in your bed right now, just hearing yourself speak in your Bose headphones. Bose is not a sponsor, by the way.
But if they want to be, by all means, Chris and nogimmies.io, you can reach out.
There you go. No, of course. What's your end goal, if you have one, with the No Gimmies podcast? I mean, are you trying to? You talked about Howard Stern as inspiration. Obviously, he doesn't talk about golf. You seem to have bigger aspirations than just golf. Is No Gimmies going to turn? First of all, the name No Gimmies, I love.
Thank you.
Do
Do you want to, can I actually just
yes.
share the story of No
Yes,
Gimmies?
of course.
So my theory on No Gimmies.
First of all, explain what a gimme is.
So a gimme is a putt. People most often categorize a gimme as a putt inside the grip on a putter. So your putter is average 35 inches, 3 feet.
Average?
Yeah, average length is 35
Okay,
inches for a
right,
putter.
right.
So, a little less than 3 feet, 1 inch less than 3 feet. So
Right. It seems above average, but continue.
the grip. All right,
Easy, brother.
The grip of the putter is about 10 to 12 inches long. So
Right.
you have 26 inches, which is like 2 feet. Essentially, people a lot of times will measure out the distance between their ball and the hole, and if it's inside the grip on a putter, they'll say
It's a gimme.
it's a gimme. I'm gonna pick this shit up. I'm not gonna putt this one. I'm gonna count it as if I made it,
And I'm proud of that fact.
and I'm proud of that fact.
That is sad.
That is, well, not that it's sad, dude. Like,
Right.
it makes the game fun and it makes it easier. And like during match play and stuff, I give people putts and like, gimmies are fine. But like, if you, I laugh because if anyone like So it's like a mentality thing. If someone tells me like, hey, I shoot 85, 86 every day on the golf course, and I'm trying really hard to get better, I go, okay, cool. Why don't we go play, and I'll see what I can see in your game,
Right.
and like see if I can help you anywhere.
Right.
If I see people like on the first hole start throwing gimmies around, I literally don't say anything about their swing, don't say anything about anything. And if they ask me at the end of the day, what do I need to work on? I'm like, make everything. Why don't you finish a fucking hole for the first time?
Yes.
Finish a hole for the first time in your life.
Yes.
Like, if you want to start playing and care about your score, why don't you officially finish a hole and officially keep 9 scores? Like,
Right.
yeah, I don't like making fucking 9s, dude, but I made a 9 last week because I fucked up a hole. Like,
Right.
I could have so easily just been like, oh, fuck it, in pocket.
Wait, what does that mean? Make a 9.
Take 9 strokes on a hole.
Oh, damn. Snowman is 8? Or is it 8 over?
Snowman is 8.
8,
So
okay.
I made a 9, and it's like I did 2 out of bounds and fucked up and 3-putted. It's like,
Right.
well, I made a fucking 9. Like, it sucked. I hated everything about it,
Right.
but I finished the fucking hole and I made my 9.
Right.
Like, if people are like giving themselves like 3-foot putts for par, and they've never made a 3-foot putt per par, I guarantee you the first one you have them try to make, they're gonna fucking miss, and they won't even hit the hole.
Right.
And it's
They
like
won't even hit the
they
hole.
won't even hit the hole, dude. It won't even be fucking close.
Right.
So it's like, dude, like no gimmies, like stack up and finish every hole and like assess what's going on. Like literally, like that's the only way you're gonna get better at golf is through
Right.
self-assessment. Like people will tell you what they see and people will let you know. Swing coaches, psychologists, all of them are really great. But at the end of the day, golf is a game of self-diagnosis and like
Golf is a
implement-
game of self-diagnosis.
and implementation, dude. You have to look at what's wrong with you. Like me, I'm wiry and I'm 6 foot, dude. Like,
Right.
and I hit the ball kind of far, but I'm not very long. So
Right.
I know accuracy is the name of my game. I'm not going to show up and overpower a golf course.
Right.
So I need to make sure that I'm implementing the right things in my practice session that revolve around accuracy. So when I go play, I can relax and just let accuracy be the reason that I'm playing well. If I know if I'm not accurate, I'm not going to play well. So like
Right.
for me, it's like tempo or little things like that. It's like, okay, well, I need to focus on this so that I have the best opportunity to shoot my best score. Whether or not that happens today because I fuck up or because the elements were tough or because I catch a bunch of bad breaks is fucking irrelevant. Like I
Right.
just need to make sure that I put myself in position to succeed. And
No gimmies.
no gimmies, dude. You cannot take gimmies. Like you need to fucking always know what's going
well, there's
on.
no
with your-
gimmies on any respectable tournament, right? There's none of that
no,
stuff.
no,
Yeah, absolutely
no,
not.
fuck that, dude. Finish the hole.
Right.
Finish the hole. You're never out of the hole. And then it's a huge mentality thing too, because you see that with players that aren't that good, or like players in tournaments and stuff. Like I played in a tournament in Utah last weekend, dude, and I was losing to this guy playing shitty. I was losing badly through 7 holes,
Right.
and I birdied 9 and 10, and he got nervous, dude, and fell apart and started
Oh,
thinking that he couldn't make shit.
damn.
And it's like, dude, like. You already have given up mentally because you've never been in a situation like this before. So the minute something goes wrong, you freak out and panic. And it's like, you need to self-diagnose that right now. Be a man. Look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, like,
Come on the No Gimmies podcast.
I shot the bed because I did this. And
Right.
then that's the only way you're going to get better. Because if you don't do that, then, like, you're never going to get better at the game. You'll stay at the same level that you're at all the time right
Paint
now.
the corners, finish.
Yeah, exactly. Paint the corners, finish. So
Right.
no, that was my idea with no gimmies in the name. And I was like, dude, like, no freaking gimmies. Like, I'm going to paint the corners. I'm going to
Right.
see this podcast through. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to work
I-
my ass off and see where it takes me.
I
And
love that.
I love having a radio show, dude. I would
Right.
love
it. You call it a radio show.
Well, this I mean, like, I would love to have a radio show, I
Right.
guess. This is like, I'm treating this like my radio show, dude. I
Right.
want this to be a full-scale, good production as if a radio station was paying me for listens and I had to put together good content. Like, I want to be in charge and I want a radio show, dude. I think that'd
Right.
be fucking sick. Like, who cares if radio's a dying media? I don't give a fuck, dude.
Right.
I think a radio or an internet radio show or satellite
Right.
radio show or something like that would be so cool.
Right.
And I wouldn't want it to be centralized to golf. I think golf
Right.
is
That was my next question.
I think golf is the easiest like jumping stone or stepping stone for me
Right.
because it's like something I care about and I can talk about and I can
Right.
practice my voice and practice my interview style and like get those things rolling a little bit. But
Right.
yeah, and then yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, like I would love to like. Dude, like even something like I'd love to be fucking Jimmy Kimmel, like just
Right.
run the Late Show. Like, are you
Right.
kidding me? The Late Show would be so tight.
Right.
Or like Howard Stern, like just do the Howard Stern show every morning, like for
Right.
4 hours. I just sit there and bullshit and talk to people about current events,
Right.
like and get people that are doing stuff to come on. Like
right.
that to me would be my dream job. I
Right.
think.
How are you gonna transition from golf? Do you have ideas for another separate podcast?
I do, but I want to see No Gimmies through. I've been doing No
Right.
Gimmies for 9 months.
Right.
And I wouldn't say it's a successful podcast yet. I think it's successful for me because of the fact that I am learning a lot and getting better at my skills as far as on a microphone and interviewing people.
Right.
But I wouldn't say that No Gimmies is a successful podcast. So I want to see this through. I know that'll bring a bunch of skills.
Right. What does that mean? See this through. What do you have a number of downloads? What's your target?
Ooh, that's a good way to put it.
Declare your target, brother.
Declare my target. That's true. I guess
It doesn't have to be downloads. I mean, it could be I want X person on the podcast. I want to consistently have,
so. My goal with No Gimmies
Right.
is to have the winner of every single PGA Tour event every week come on the show the Monday after they win.
Wow, I
don't
love
care,
that.
I don't care if they're and maybe not even PGA Tour. I want to get one winner to come on
Right.
the show every Monday the day after they win. Tournaments end on Sunday.
Right.
For the LPGA Tour, the European Tour, the Champions Tour, the Web.com Tour, the Latin America Tour, the Canada Tour, fucking Hooters Tour, the fucking PGA
The
Tour.
Hooters tour.
Every single tour that
Damn,
you could ever
right.
fucking imagine. Tournament ends on Sunday, barring a weather delay.
Right.
I want to get every Monday a winner from the week before on the show, even if it's only for 15 minutes while they're in an airport terminal getting ready to fly to fucking St. Louis.
Right.
Talk to me. Like,
Right.
give me 15 minutes. And I think if I could get that for golfers, if I could be the place for them to go
Right.
and listen to wake up in the morning, they turn on Golf Channel, or turn on ESPN as they're making their fucking coffee
Right.
or whatever. And it's like,
No
Billy,
Gimmies podcast.
Billy Hurley III wins the Quicken Loans National yesterday by 2 shots over Jason Day and Johnny Vegas. And then, like, I want someone to be like, oh, cool, like, Billy Hurley III, never heard of him. Google
Right.
search Billy Hurley III, and I want
Boom.
No Gimmies Billy Hurley III interview to come up.
Right.
I want to just be like, hey, like, so yeah, even if it's only 15 minutes of Billy Hurley talking to me, like, I'd rather have those 15 minutes because I think the minute after you win, people, one, are on an incredible high, and two,
Absolutely.
have a really good perspective, and three, could impart some knowledge on anyone and get people a better understanding on who they are. So that is my goal. That is when I would have considered No Gimmies a success.
I love that. And then, after you do that for a few weeks and you declare success, and then you start the Chris Durr podcast.
The Chris Durr podcast, or maybe maybe get picked up by PGA Tour Radio.
Yes.
Something,
Okay,
dude,
I love that.
Yeah, something like that, dude. That would be awesome. And then
Right.
I would want to parlay that into just like my own show where I can talk to anyone about what they're
Right.
doing. Because I think I'm pretty. I don't want to say versatile, but I think I can talk to anyone. I
Right.
think
No, you absolutely can.
I think I can talk to most people. I feel like I have good conversations with most people that I talk to.
Right.
So it's like, well, why not like just do it with everyone? And then
Right.
I would love if No Gimmies just went on forever. Like, I'd love if No Gimmies was just something I did every week. Like, I'd love it if I got the process so streamlined to where, like, let's say No Gimmies took me an additional 2 hours of work a week.
Right.
To put out an episode, like, plus whatever the recording time was. Whether
Right.
the recording was like an hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. So like I spend like 5 hours or something on No Gimmies a week.
Right.
And I do it like clockwork. It's just like every
Right.
Monday I wake up, and first thing in the morning I make my coffee, and I call this person, I interview them, and I get the podcast out by like noon on Monday morning.
Right.
Like every fucking week. And it's just
Right.
like my way to like ease into the week, get my week started.
Right.
And then if I can go from there and have whatever my own radio show or whatever it is that I'm doing, that would be cool. And that can be what I do for work. And I want
Right.
this to forever be like something that lives and is my first passion project. That's like a perfect
Right.
world. But like that's what I would picture
I love
success
that.
as. That's what I would picture success as.
I love that. You mentioned being able to have a conversation with anyone. This is so moving a little bit away from the No Gimmies. I just want to ask you before we stop here. This has been awesome, and I really appreciate it. Can you talk a little bit about your frame of reference, your worldview, your kind of mental model, the way you process information? You're just a very positive person and a very, very nice person, but you're also not soft. You take a stand. You'll voice your opinions. I'm curious how'd you get to this point? You're positive. You take a stand. You have a great combination, and how'd you get there?
That's a loaded question,
Right.
Richard.
Do you meditate? How's that?
I do meditate.
Okay.
Fuck yeah, I meditate.
You meditate.
dude.
Okay. Well,
Hell yeah.
seriously, and a lot of people don't meditate. So interesting.
Meditation's key, dude. Being okay with yourself. Like
Right.
being like giving yourself time to just be like still and with whatever it is that is you. Like get
Right.
comfortable with that. Get fucking weird with it. Like
Right.
it's gonna feel.
Do a podcast with yourself every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Right.
it gets like weird, like you ask questions you don't like to ask or whatever it is that you do, but like be with yourself, man. Like it's
Right.
okay. It's okay to be alone. People in like our age love being with people, and don't get me wrong, I'm a sociable person. I'm a social butterfly, man. I like to spread my wings and just talk to people. I love to work a party. Like I love
Right.
to do whatever,
Right.
But yeah, time by yourself is super important, and meditation's super important, and
Right.
and positivity is a choice, I think, at the end of the day.
Right.
So I just make a conscious effort every day to choose to be positive and to take care of myself and care about other people.
Keep moving forward and no gimmies.
And no gimmies, dude. And I don't know, be nice to people. Why you gotta be a
Right.
dick? No one likes a dick. Why?
Right.
I feel bad when I'm a dick to someone,
Right.
like afterwards. So it's
Right.
like, why not? Why wouldn't like?
Well, Bubba Watson didn't do anything to you, dude.
I know, but I'm being yeah. You're right. You're right.
No, it's
you're
his
right.
image,
You're
dude.
right,
It's okay. We
you're
can
right.
call it.
You're right.
No,
you're
we
right.
can call.
Bubba Watson didn't do anything to me, but
No, but that's my point. No one would say you're not a nice guy. You're positive. You're great to talk to. But then that's my point. You also will take a stand and say, you know what? No, that's not right. I've seen it happen. Bubba Watson argument. Example. Notwithstanding, I've seen it elsewhere. So I just think it's a very beautiful combination, because it's not. I don't talk to you and think, okay, this person's is just yes to everything, positive to everything. No, this person's positive outlook, but that's coupled with some discernment.
yeah, I'm not gonna just say I'm not a yes man by any
Right.
stretch of the imagination. If I don't like something, I'm not gonna do it. I have no
Right.
issue saying no to stuff.
Right.
I'll say no really nicely,
Right.
but like, I'm not. I don't feel like I'm a pushover. I just
Right.
feel like I had to try to not be a pushover. I feel like there was a like when I was a kid, like, oh, okay, I can't be a pushover, but like,
Right.
yeah,
When you were a kid, you were on the playground. I'm not gonna be a pushover, and ever since then, boom.
well, like it wasn't that like black and white, but
Right.
like, you have realizations where it's like, oh man, like, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Make a choice.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, all right, well, hold on. I just need to make sure that whatever it is I stick with, and
Right.
be okay with it.
Right. Make a choice.
It's a lifelong journey, that one, dude.
Right. Absolutely. Make a choice. Start a journey. And as always, no gimmies. Krister, this has been excellent to have you on. My No Gradient podcast.
No Gradient?
Yeah, No Gradient. How do you think of that name? So
No gradient?
No gradient. So gradient is a gradient. Think of a gradient as a color, right? It's a kind of a shade of a color, or it's also a physics thing that shows a bunch of multivariable stuff. It's kind of unclear. I want it to be clear. I want no gradient. I want it to be what it is. And this. I have some articles, things I've written, posted, and that's kind of the way I view it. So, the podcast is kind of just an add on to that. But I think, I want to be clear. I want to take a stand. Like, that's why I asked you about that. I want to take a stand because I think when people take a stand, it's easier to have a conversation when someone says, I believe this. Now let's riff on it, whether you necessarily agree or not. So
Exactly.
that's my kind of frame of reference there.
I think our generation is lacking in that quite a bit, as far as like.
Right.
people-
Whoa! This podcast just blew up, dude.
I feel like people
our
that
generation.
I feel like people that like are.
This is the outro, and you're saying words like our generation. Okay.
No, like people in their 20s, dude. I feel like
Right.
a lot of times it's like, like
Right.
it's not as easy to have that with some people.
Right.
Sometimes I'm not saying like everyone, and I don't want to make like a generalization, but
Right.
it's cool. It's refreshing to have that. I love the name. I love the idea, and I
Yeah.
love what you're doing with it, man.
Right,
I'm
dude.
so happy that I was able to help.
Dude,
and
I-
come on the first episode and do this because I had
Come
a
on, the
blast.
first episode is I'm again. We're using, just so we're clear, everyone. We're using Chris's setup here. He's got all the goods, so I may have to. I might just duplicate his setup directly. Just copy the lip sync model.
I copied it from many a podcaster before me.
Right,
So.
right. There we go. Pass the torch. Well, Chris, thank you so much for being on the show. That sounds so funny. Yeah, thank you so much, and really appreciate the advice.
No worries, dude. Cheers.
Cheers, brother. There we go. Peace.